Hello friends, it's great to see you again on our channel. If you are new, welcome! We are in the middle of our Canadian Rockies series, and in this one, we were saying goodbye to the town of Canmore and moving to our next base, the town of Banff.
This long lane is standing between us and the town center, which is where we are going for our morning walk.
But before leaving, we had to visit Eclipse Roastery one last time. Their freshly brewed coffee had been a constant companion on our mornings here in Canmore, and in our opinion, they make some of the best coffee in the Rockies. This time, we visited their branch on the main street, which was closer to where we stayed. After a short drive, we passed the Banff National Park gate. In the summer of 2025, the national parks across Canada offers free entry to everyone. Otherwise, you will need to get your pass here. By the way, we had already visited the town of Banff the day before, so we have talked a bit about the town and our experience riding the gondola up Sulphur Mountain in our previous video. So do check it out if you haven't. One thing worth repeating is that this town is incredibly popular and that parking can be a real challenge. You will always struggle to find a spot along Banff Avenue, the town's main artery. Instead, visitors should consider the free car park near the train station, which is about 600 meters from downtown. This is exactly what we did. Near the river on the south side of downtown, you can find the Banff Park Museum, a rustic, lock-faced structure with a shingled roof that was built in 1903. This is a fascinating place for anyone with an interest in zoology and botany. It features over 5,000 local specimens, from the smallest mice to the biggest and fiercest bears. Most of the collection were gathered in the late 19th and early 20th century. A large part of this collection can be attributed to one Norman Bethune Sanson, the museum's curator between 1896 and 1932. He traveled extensively through Banff, Yoho, and Kootenay national parks to collect these specimens. One source estimates that he covered 30,000 kilometers on foot and horseback, and even climbed Sulphur Mountain over 800 times. Talk about dedication! Banff town is surrounded by many trails for you to explore, like the Bow River Trail that runs across and along the Bow River. We took the trail towards the Bow Falls viewpoint. This walk is quite popular as it is relatively flat and accessible. During the summer months, the trail also acts as an outdoor art exhibition, with temporary artworks placed along the way. Further along, the trail follows a series of staircases, making it a bit more challenging. From here, you'll find a viewpoint of the Bow Falls, which isn't a single massive drop, but rather a cascade over a series of ledges. The major draw of the viewpoint is the Cascade Mountain and the majestic Fairmont Hotel in the background, making this a fantastic spot for photographs. At only 1.2 kilometers from downtown, you can easily tackle this trail in your leisure time. For lunch, we went to Block Kitchen and Bar on Caribou Street in downtown. This is a very popular restaurant that serves a variety of Korean, Japanese, and Indian-style sandwiches and other dishes. We generally had excellent experiences eating in Banff, and this one was no exception. The food was delicious and satisfying. Another place to try if you're here. In the afternoon, We took a drive through the mesmerizing Bow Valley Parkway to Johnston Canyon, about 25 kilometers from Banff. From there, you can take the trailhead towards the lower falls, upper falls, or the ink pots. Do note that during the spring and autumn, some parts of the Bow Valley Parkway could be closed to motor vehicles to make way for cyclists, so do check before you visit. These trails are immensely popular, the family-friendly lower falls in particular, and therefore you can expect to see a lot of people here and parking could be difficult. A tip is to visit either in the early morning or at the end of the day, where most people have already left, at around 5 p.m. If you're looking for a serious hike, targeting the ink pots, an early start would be better, as this challenging hike could take anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. However, if you only plan to visit the lower falls, a late afternoon or early evening visit is a perfect option, as this 2.4-kilometer round-trip trail is quite gentle, accessible, and often very crowded at other times. The trail, while very well maintained, can be a bit narrow at parts, especially when you have to walk on the metal catwalks bolted to the canyon wall. At peak periods, you will literally brush shoulders with other people going the other way, and stopping to take photos could invite some judging glares. As you can see, in the late afternoon the trail was not very busy, and we could take more time enjoying our surroundings and making frequent stops, making the experience far more enjoyable. Once you arrive at the lower falls, you'll find the waterfalls framed by narrow limestone walls that have been carved over thousands of years by the rushing water. The falls themselves aren't very tall, probably only about 5 meters high. Beyond this waterfall, there is a small cave that brings you closer to the cascade. It was quite narrow, and most of the time you had to wait in line to enter. Personally, if the queue is too long, you can skip this one and just enjoy the waterfall from the outside. To cap off the day, we had a lovely dinner at Hello Sunshine in town. Oh, by the way, restaurants here are often fully reserved, especially in the peak seasons, so it's best to call ahead before you drop in. We didn't get too much footage here, but we had a fantastic time enjoying the warm atmosphere and the delicious food. Good night for now, and see you tomorrow! Town of Banff on a Saturday morning. It's cloudy today, perfect for a hike. We're about to hike to the Tunnel Mountain summit. It's 2-kilometer one way with an elevation gain of 260 meters. Let's go.
Let's go!
Compared to the grand peaks around Banff, Tunnel Mountain is much more modest in stature. However, there are many interesting things about this trail that we learned as we climbed up. Given its relative height, or the lack of it, and the well-maintained trail, this is a very popular spot for hikers of all ages. Even though it was rated as having moderate difficulty, some say that children as young as 3 or 4 years old have successfully completed the hike on their own 2 feet. To protect our dignity, we chose to believe this is an urban legend created by over-enthusiastic parents. If your kids have done so on their own, please feel free to be a show-off and tell us in the comments. When you hear the name, you would logically expect to see a tunnel here. If you do, you'll be sorely disappointed. There was a plan to blast the mountain to create a tunnel for a railway back in the 1880s, but the Canadian Pacific Railway's general manager at the time, William Cornelius Van Horn, was reportedly furious at the suggestion, probably due to the cost and duration of the effort. Later, an alternative route was found that not only avoided the tunnel's construction, but also shortened the route by a mile. The tunnel was never built, but the name stuck, commemorating what a surveyor called the most extraordinary blunder in the way of engineering. Maybe those who proposed the tunnel just wanted to play with explosives.
Hello!
We're at the summit of Tunnel Mountain. It's pretty crowded here, so this is a very popular hike.
Yeah, and the view from here.
Another tall claim swirling around is that Tunnel Mountain is the world's most climbed mountain. There is no official record, and it is more of a local point of pride than anything else. This could be the work of one N. Ness, a resident of the town who is believed to have climbed the mountain over 8,000 times in a 40-year period, significantly adding to the total number of climbs. What a way to drag the statistic up! Despite being one of the smallest peaks in the park, the panoramic view from the summit is truly worth the climb, offering a commanding vantage point of the town of Banff, the Bow Valley, and the imposing ranges of Mount Rundle and Cascade Mountain. For lunch, we visited another great establishment in town, the Three Bears Brewery and Restaurant. No, there are no bears inside the place, and no, they don't serve bear meat either. Instead, this hugely popular place, so be sure to reserve in advance, offers some very interesting menu items, like the elk and kale pizza and bison ribs. A great opportunity to try something you've never had before.
Right. Elk and something. Elk and something.
Greens. Kale. Yeah, kale.
Green patty. Thank you. Bison ribs. Ribeye. Better. Interesting.
There was so much to love about the food and beverages. We had a wonderfully tasty meal and loved everything we ordered. Coupled with a rustic atmosphere and friendly service, you are sure to have a brilliant time here. After the intense morning activities, we took the afternoon slow and easy with a stop at the Castle in the Rockies, the Fairmont Banff Hotel. The hotel was originally built in 1888 before a fire in 1926 destroyed it, giving us the stone building that stands today. It is a landmark that can be seen from various viewpoints around the town, including this morning from the Tunnel Mountain Trail. The site where it stands offers a picturesque view of the Bow River and the town of Banff, and the hotel itself is a year-round resort for tourists. Like any proper castle-like building, the place has its own ethereal guest. There are several haunting stories here, from friendly to rather gruesome ones, but since we are not here on a ghost-busting mission, we won't go into the details. The next stop was Cave and Basin, a historic site that has a significant role as the birthplace of Canada's entire national park system. In 1883, some railway workers discovered the hot spring here and attempted to claim the land for commercial purposes. The government stepped in 1885 and established a hot spring reserve to protect it for public use. This reserve later became the Rocky Mountains Park and eventually Banff National Park, Canada's first. Here, you can visit the cave and see the pool that these workers discovered. Although long before this discovery, the place had been a sacred and ceremonial site for many indigenous peoples. While there was once a bathhouse and a large outdoor pool, today swimming is no longer allowed, as this pool has a unique ecosystem, the habitat of the endangered Banff Spring snails, a species not found anywhere else in the world. Visitors are not allowed to touch the water so as not to disrupt this delicate environment. Our visit to the cave and basin was our last stop of the day and also marked the end of our time in the town of Banff. But our adventure would still continue in our next video, where we'll visit some of the most iconic gems of the Canadian Rockies. Yep, we are talking about the otherworldly beautiful Lake Louise and Moraine Lake. Do subscribe to our channel so you'll get notified when our next video is online. We're glad you followed us this far. See you next time!